Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 144 of a year change. Today I had originally planned on sort of continuing on of what we've been doing, showing like different unique fruits and vegetables and things like that. So I was actually going to get a dragon fruit to show you guys. Had it in my cart and everything else, was going to get it and bring it back. And the main reason why I was going to do that was I had heard or read or someone told me or something, heard through the grapevine somehow. Someone said, oh, it's really high in vitamin C and it is very good with, there's tons of vitamins and minerals and all these good things that you need. And I thought, okay, well, that's fine. Usually I'm sort of wary when people start saying, oh, it's a superfood. And like the kale debacle that we had a couple of weeks ago, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago anyway. So I started thinking, I don't really know enough yet. So I put it back and I thought I'm going to look it up first and just see how great it is. Because generally if someone says, oh, this is a miracle thing, then you really should say, okay, something's not right. So I started looking through. I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. There's, lots of vitamin C and, it's good for calories and everything else. And then I started really thinking that pretty much every fruit has that. So I thought I would do a quick little comparison. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to do up a whole... I was going to actually do like a whole slew of numbers and compare and contrast and everything else, and it's too much. So I went through, did a whole bunch of stuff, and so I'm going to sort of summarize everything and try to keep this short once again. So I'm going through, and although it's nice to have those unique things once in a while, like the chayote that we looked at a while ago, the kohlrabi and stuff like that, and dragon fruit, I thought this is going to be very exotic because it's nice and flowery and dragony and fruity and everything else. But I thought, I'm going to try to compare this with just sort of the basics. So I just grabbed the first 3 things that generally come to mind when you think of fruit. Just the 3 basics: apples, oranges, and bananas. Just going to compare it with those 3. I was going to compare it with like kiwi because it's sort of kiwi-ish. But I thought I'm going to stick with the basics just to see where it stands in relation to those. And if it's way, way above, then certainly it's something that we can go look at. Long story short, it does have a lot of vitamin C in it, and that really was the sort of the highlight of it, but pound for pound, or 100 grams for 100 grams, it's really not that great. And so I started looking at other stuff a little closer and everything else, and realized that even just among the basics, that oranges come way out ahead in almost everything, with sugar and sodium and carbs and calories, and they were second for vitamin C. I have numbers here. 88% of your daily allowance, as opposed to 108% for dragon fruit. So a 20% difference. That was it. Almost everything else, it excels above everything else. So I thought, everyone knows what an orange looks like, so I'm not going to go, this is an orange and this is what you do with it. But it just sort of got me thinking that although it's nice to have that, something exotic every once in a while, we sort of overlook the basics. And that's the thing. I mean, you can sort of look at different foods and say, okay, well, I really want to get this one because it's super, super high in iron. Or, I need to specifically have this one because it's super high in manganese or something. The thing is, though, is that the amounts that those are coming in, they're so infinitesimally small. Is that a word? Infinitesimally. I don't think it is. So very small. That just focusing on one thing and saying, okay, well, I need to get my vitamin C from this. And then if I want iron, I have to have this, is just simply ridiculous. The main thing that we need is variety. We know what it's like. This is why diet foods tend to just sort of be really bland and don't help us out a lot. Because you're eating the same thing all day, every day. Like for breakfast, have half a grapefruit and half a cup of cottage cheese. And you do that for 2 months, and eventually you just snap and go nuts and go, I want a burger. And that's what ends up happening. So although it's nice to have these exotic things once in a while, if you go back and just look at the basics, that's all that you really need. I'm still going to show things from time to time because it's nice to look at something new and try something different. And the dragon fruit, eventually, go try one if you want. I still haven't tried it yet. I heard it tastes really, really good. And it's something nice once in a while, but it shouldn't be something that you say, okay, I need to go and find something exotic to get the vitamins and nutrients that I need. Because I mean, you can look at it and say, well, if I have 100 grams of this, that's going to have more iron than this does, but it's going to have less than something else. Well, then just have a little bit of everything. And that's the thing, is that the variety that we have, that's really going to be the most helpful. Who cares if you're 20% below where your peak number should be for the day? It's not going to be perfect. Whether it's day by day or week by week or even month by month, that you simply can't operate that way. You have to be realistic. And it's one of those things that when we first started out, I wanted to say that it's just, you can't say, well, we can never have this again. We can never have that again. We haven't cut any foods out. We never will. I mean, we've made pretty much the food changes that we need to. But being able to introduce new things in there and just a variety is going to be much more helpful than picking out one tiny little thing here and there. Because when you're looking at something and say, we're going to pick vitamin C because it's the easiest. Or actually, no, we'll go potassium because we've been talking about sodium and potassium and everything else. And out of the four of them, bananas, unsurprisingly, had way more potassium than anything else. The number 358 milligrams. The next highest was the dragon fruit, actually, with 192, and then the orange had 181. So, just that small difference. Let's say, for example, that you hate bananas, but you need potassium. You don't have to eat bananas. There are a myriad of other things that can give you the same thing. So, one day have a banana. The next day have some dulse, which I showed you a while ago. The next day after that, have some baby spinach. Pick and choose and just explore those different varieties of things that you can have. As a general rule, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, the more colors you have available to you, the better it's going to be. I know that's a very simplistic way of looking at it, and it really has no bearing with health or scientific reason or anything else. But just where you're getting it from multiple sources is going to make things much, much better instead of saying, well, when I need iron, I go for this. And when I need potassium, I go for that. And if I need sugars, I go for this. Because you are going to break down and eventually just snap. We need to have that variety. There is something called flavor fatigue that people get. And it's when you eat the same thing over and over and over and over again repeatedly. You get to a stage where either you can't stand the taste of it. And we've all been there when you've just had so much of something. You're like, I'm done. I can't eat any more of those. Or it gets to a point where it just becomes so bland that it doesn't have the same appeal that it once did. So, when you're trying to pick different fruits and vegetables and things like that, stick with the basics. It doesn't matter. You don't need to go out and find something really exotic every single week. You can do just fine with apples and oranges and bananas. And yeah, you may not be getting, the peak amount of vitamin A that you need from something, or, iron or calcium or anything like that. But you're getting it from multiple sources. And if you're 10% below where you need to be for the day, it's not going to kill you. It's still better than what we've been doing, which is just saying, well, it's cake. I'll just have that. That's fine. It's still way, way better than what we've been doing before. So I guess this week is really, there's nothing new. I have nothing new to show you. No real new foods or anything like that. Just a matter of saying, get back to the basics. When you're looking at fruit, stick with those three to start out with. Say apples, oranges, and bananas. They're the cheapest. They're the most plentiful. And you can get pretty much everything that you need from it. There's fiber in there. There's all the different vitamins and everything else. You're going to get other things from vegetables as well. Like, don't just stick with one thing. Like, as we saw, kale, which everyone's going, ooh, it's a miracle. No, it's not. It's not even in the top 15. It's in the top 20, which is fine, which doesn't say a whole hell of a lot. But there's 2 types of lettuce that are above it. So it's nothing great. So when you are going for something, like say, okay, well, I'm going to get some lettuce, but I'm also going to get some carrots. If you like green peppers, get those, or change them up and get the yellow, orange, and red ones. They taste slightly different, and they have different nutrients in them at different levels for everything else. Just having that wide array of fruits and vegetables available is going to make pretty much any meal way, way better, so that you're not stuck with the same thing every single time. Having boiled carrots every single day, you're going to go crazy and probably kill your entire family. But if you mix that up and say, good enough, we had carrots last night, then we won't have it again for 10 days. There are a ton of different things that you can try. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It doesn't have to be anything exotic. It can be just the basics and just sort of open up that variety and bring them all in. You're going to get what you need when it comes to, stuff that's low calorie, or if you're looking to just cut out fat and things like that. Fruits and vegetables obviously are going to be the best bet for you, but you're going to get everything that you need, all the different vitamins and the little minerals and nutrients and everything else that you get. You're going to get it if you just sort of expand your horizons, I guess is probably the best way to do it. But if you are looking for something that's sort of basic, that really comes out ahead over everything else, go with an orange. They really do sort of, out of the three, basic, the apple, orange, banana, and then dragon fruit on top of it, they're pretty much the best out of everything. The different vitamins that are in there, the fat and fiber and sugars and everything else that's in there, they really do sort of stand out. Out of all three of them, those are the top, which is good because I prefer those over, you know what, I shouldn't say that. I would have said orange was my favorite. But now, because of these Koru apples and the Fuji apples, it is, it's close. Bananas, farm, because they're ripe for 2 seconds, and then they get really mushy. Bananas are fine, but if I had to pick, that would be my third choice. Oranges have always been my favorite. Like any orange flavor, orange fruit, all that stuff. But with these apples, I don't know. It's been iffy. So I don't know. Anyway, by the way, just so you know, because I meant to make a point of this, because we're talking about oranges, contrary to popular belief, there are words that rhyme with orange. One, and they're English words. One's English. The first is actually a mountain in Wales called Blorange, or the Blorange. And you could look it up. It's a real thing. It's spelled similarly. And so that rhymes with it. And also, the little spores that are on ferns that house the seeds that it goes pew and spews them out is called a sporange, which is sort of it's a bit of a cheat because it's a rare version of sporangium. For you botanists out there, you know what I'm talking about. You can say, finally, someone understands. Or someone realized it. But yes, there are two words, at least, that rhyme with orange. So next time someone says, there's a new word that rhymes with orange, yeah, there are. There's two of them. And now you can show them. There you go. Those are the two words, and they're going to look like an ass. So that'll be good. Anyway, one is English and one is Welsh. I think, yeah. The mountain, I think it's a Welsh name anyway. It's in Wales, so I'm assuming. But that's way off topic, but I figured I would bring that up because it's a little interesting bit of information. Also, one thing I do need to bring up from yesterday, actually, and I should have brought this up before. The person that we introduced yesterday, her name is not, it's... okay. I don't know what her actual name is because she did introduce herself as Sammy, but it's not Luann. That's my boorish Canadian accent coming out. I actually saw something on Instagram. She has an Instagram account. I went up and looked there, and it's Luann. That's how you pronounce it. So apologies to you for mispronouncing your name. Sorry. So I'm hoping that this will make things a little bit better. So now you can learn about oranges, and now you know her name properly. Her proper name. Properly. Oof, that came out weird, didn't it? I don't know. Anyway, Luann is actually how you pronounce her name, which makes more sense because Luann you would think would be like an extra N and an extra E at the end of it. I was going by phonetics and still screwed it up. But anyway, that's her name. One from yesterday. So you can go up and take a look at her videos and say hello and all the other good stuff. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. I don't really have anything new to show you. It's just sort of a getting back to basics thing and then a little bit of information about oranges. But just to sort of wrap things up, again, if you want to try new things, I am eventually going to try the dragon fruit, and I'm going to keep trying new things because the more variety that you have and the new things that you do try, the better it's going to be. But in general, you don't have to sort of pick and choose that way and say, well, I'm not getting as much, iron as I need to by not eating this or eating that. If we start eating properly, and introducing more and more fruits and vegetables into our diet, we are going to be getting everything that we need. And if you're a few percentage points off, or if you're a couple of milligrams below where you need to be, or you've got a couple of grams, too high of sodium, then you're going to be fine. In the end, it's going to even out, and you're going to be much happier and much healthier as a result. So that's my little message for the day. But we're going to keep things nice and short. I haven't repeated myself, I don't think, except for that little summarizing. And, we are slightly above. Well, we're getting close anyway. But I'm going to end this here. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.